council chambers were filled with the murmur of voices, each alien delegate wearing expressions of disdain and superiority. Humans, they had decided, were no longer worthy of a place among the stars. Earth, the cradle of humanity, was considered primitive and dangerous. The council's decision had been made behind closed doors, and when the news arrived, it struck like a hammer. On Earth, people were unaware of the council's meeting, busy with their daily lives, cities bustling with energy and innovation. Yet in secret, a hidden fleet of warships lay ready, kept safe for generations. Admiral Heijin stood on the observation deck of the flagship, her hands gripping the rail as she watched the stars beyond. Beside her, Commander Dae-sung checked the controls, his expression calm but intense. "They think we are weak," he said softly, "but they do not know what we have built." The fleet had been a secret for centuries, hidden from the council's spies. Scientists and engineers had worked quietly, perfecting weapons, shields, and engines far beyond what the council believed humans could manage. These warships were not only advanced, they were a testament to human determination and ingenuity. Heijin knew that when the time came, Earth would strike back with a power the galaxy had never seen. In the council chambers, reports arrived of human colonies that had been quietly observing alien technology. Every discovery had been documented and sent back to Earth. Humans had learned quickly, adapting the best ideas and improving them. The council, arrogant and slow to act, believed humanity would never be a real threat. They were wrong. Heijin walked along the deck, passing officers who monitored communications and ship systems. Among them was Miare, a young but skilled strategist. Her eyes were bright with focus, her mind always calculating possibilities. She had trained for this moment, studying the weaknesses of every alien fleet in council space. "Admiral," she said, "all ships are ready. We only await your command." The fleet moved silently, hidden in the shadow of the asteroid belt near the edge of known space. The warships were enormous, sleek, and deadly, each one carrying advanced railguns capable of striking a planet from orbit. Heijin felt a surge of pride and determination. Humanity had been cast out, humiliated, and underestimated. But now it was time to show the Council the true strength of Earth. On the surface, Earth's population continued their work in peace. Citizens went about their routines, unaware that the greatest fleet in human history was about to leave orbit. Scientists like Jun Seo and Yi Jin worked tirelessly in the laboratories, ensuring that every weapon system was fully functional. The Council believed they had studied humanity completely, but they had never guessed that humans could build such an arsenal in secrecy. As the fleet prepared to launch, Admiral Heijin gave the signal. Lights flashed across the warships, engines roared to life, and the fleet began moving toward the outer rim. Commander Dae-sung coordinated with each ship, ensuring formation and speed were perfect. The journey through the dark void was silent, save for the hum of the engines and the quiet determination of every human on board. In the council chambers, delegates continued their discussions, oblivious to the threat moving closer every second. Some speculated that humans might attempt a minor rebellion, but none imagined a fleet of this size and power. "They are fools," said a council elder, his voice dripping with confidence. "Humans cannot challenge us. They are weak, and they will be destroyed before they even reach our borders." On board the fleet, Miare reviewed tactical simulations, adjusting strategies based on the latest intelligence. "Their warships are large but slow," she said. "They rely on brute force, not tactics. We can use that against them." Heijin nodded. "We will strike where they do not expect. Precision, speed, and coordination will be our advantage." The first strike would not be on the Council itself, but on their outer outposts. These were communication hubs, small fleets stationed to monitor space traffic, and lightly defended colonies. Humans would move quickly, disabling these outposts and cutting off Council communications before the main attack. It was a plan built on careful observation and understanding of alien psychology. Back on Earth, news of the Council's decision spread quickly, causing outrage among the people. Protests erupted, but they were small compared to the silent preparation of the fleet. Citizens like Hannah and Jiho worked in secret, coordinating resources, ensuring that every ship had supplies, every system had maintenance, and every crew member was ready for the campaign ahead. There was fear, yes, but also a deep, burning resolve. Humans would not accept being cast out without a fight. As the fleet approached the edge of Council space, Admiral Heijin addressed the officers. Today, we no longer hide. Today, humanity shows the galaxy who we are. The words were broadcast to every ship, and a wave of determination swept through the fleet. Engineers, pilots, strategists, and soldiers alike felt the weight of history on their shoulders. This was not just a war of survival. It was a war to reclaim respect, honor, and a place among the stars. The first signs of Council detection appeared as small sensors flickered on the radar. Alien scouts had noticed the fleet, but it was already too late. Humans had studied their tactics, learned their weaknesses, and prepared responses to every likely maneuver. Commander Daesung adjusted the fleet's course slightly, slipping through gaps in the sensor grid, undetected for now. On the flagship, MIRA monitored incoming data. Admiral, sensors show multiple small ships approaching. They are attempting to intercept. Heijin gave a calm nod. Let them come. They will find that humans are no longer easy prey. When the Council ships emerged from the shadows, humans were ready. Railguns fired in precise coordination, striking enemy ships before they could maneuver. Explosions lit the darkness of space, and one by one, the Council outposts began to fall. The first victory, small as it was, filled the fleet with confidence. Heijin watched the battle unfold, her mind already planning the next moves. This is only the beginning, she said quietly. The Council will learn that underestimating humans is their greatest mistake. In the colonies, news of the human fleet's success spread quickly. Aliens who had once looked down on humans began to whisper about the rise of Earth. Some reached out secretly, hoping to ally with the humans who had defied the Council. Even now, the galaxy's perception of Earth was beginning to shift. By the time the fleet returned to stealth mode, the first outposts had been destroyed, and the Council had no idea what had struck them. Humanity had cast off its chains, stepping out from the shadows for the first time in centuries. The fleet returned to orbit near neutral space, regrouping and preparing for the next wave of strikes. The Council would soon learn that humans were no longer the species they had thought they were. Admiral Heijin stood once more on the observation deck, looking at the stars. Commander Daesung joined her. They will send more ships, he said, and they will try harder next time. Heijin smiled faintly. Let them try. We will be ready. Earth has waited long enough. Now the galaxy will see our strength. The hidden fleet was no longer a secret. Humanity had begun its journey to reclaim respect and power, one calculated strike at a time. From Earth to the far reaches of Council space, humans had cast off their role as victims. The stars were now theirs to navigate, fight for, and ultimately to change forever. And somewhere in the Council chambers, delegates who had mocked and humiliated humanity now faced a truth they could not ignore. The humans they had cast out were stronger, smarter, and far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. The hidden fleet moved quietly through the dark void of space, each warship gliding with silent precision. Admiral Heijin watched the instruments on the bridge, her eyes scanning the stars for any sign of Council patrols. Commander Daesung stood nearby, monitoring the fleet's formation. We are approaching the first Council outpost, he said, his voice steady. Sensors show minimal defenses, but we cannot underestimate them. MIRA leaned over the tactical map, her fingers tracing the paths of enemy ships. They are spread thin, she said. Most of their forces are stationed closer to their central worlds. If we strike now, we can cripple their communication lines before they know what hit them. Heijin nodded. We move fast, precise, and silent. No mistakes. Below, the crew of each warship prepared for battle. Pilots like Junwoo and Heijin ran final checks on their vessels, testing engines, shields, and railguns. Technicians such as Sukmin and Boare ensured that every system worked perfectly. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. Earth had prepared in secret for generations, and now the time had come to act. The fleet approached the first outpost, a small station orbiting a barren moon. It was lightly defended, exactly as intelligence had predicted. Humans had calculated the Council's movements and weaknesses carefully. The outpost sensors detected the fleet too late. Heijin gave the command. Fire! Railguns fired in perfect synchronization, beams of energy slicing through the darkness. Explosions erupted as Council ships and defense systems were obliterated in moments. The humans had practiced these strikes countless times in simulations, and the results were devastating. No Council ship could withstand the speed and precision of human technology. Mireille coordinated the fleet's movements, guiding ships to surround the outpost. Focus on the communication arrays, she instructed. We cut their eyes and ears first. Junwoo piloted his fighter through enemy fire, dodging lasers and returning precise shots. Heijin followed closely, her maneuvers flawless. Within minutes, the outpost's defenses collapsed, and its communications went dark. As the battle ended, Heijin addressed the fleet. This was only the beginning, she said. The Council will respond, but we have shown them that humans are not weak. They will not ignore us again. Commander Daesung checked the status reports. All ships are intact, he said. Minimal losses. The fleet moved silently away from the destroyed outpost, vanishing into the darkness before reinforcements could arrive. On Earth, citizens watched the first news reports of the attacks. Hannah and Jiho were among those coordinating the logistics of the operation, sending supplies and information to the fleet through secure channels. People whispered about the rise of human power, their voices filled with hope and pride. Humanity had been cast out and humiliated, but now they had begun their rise to reclaim respect and influence. The fleet moved toward the next target, a Council supply station on the edge of a dense asteroid field. This location was more heavily defended, with several cruisers and a large number of fighter ships. Mireille studied the tactical map carefully. We cannot go in head-on, she said. We need a diversion. Heijin agreed. Sukmin and Boare, prepare the stealth units. We will create a false approach on one side, while the main fleet attacks from the other. Engineers quickly adjusted the ships, hiding their movements from sensors and creating a series of simulated signals to confuse the enemy. It was a bold plan, but humans had learned that caution alone could not win wars. They needed strategy and ingenuity. When the fleet arrived, the Council forces immediately detected them. They are coming! An alien commander shouted from the station, panic in their voice. But the humans were ready. The stealth units moved in one direction, drawing the Council fighters away. Meanwhile, the main fleet swooped in from the opposite side, cutting off escape routes and striking the supply station's shields. Explosions rocked the asteroid field as railguns and energy weapons tore through the defenses. Heijin's fighter dodged enemy fire while Junwoo's shots disabled critical systems on the station. The Council's ships were caught off guard, their formation breaking apart. Within moments, the supply station was destroyed, and the remaining Council ships retreated. Heijin observed the victory with calm satisfaction. Another success, she said. The Council cannot rebuild fast enough to stop us. Commander Daesung nodded. Our speed and coordination give us an advantage they cannot match. Mireille added, and every victory sends a message. Humanity is not to be underestimated. As the fleet regrouped, the humans noticed small alien vessels approaching from distant sectors. Some were curious traders, others scouts sent by the Council. Instead of attacking immediately, Heijin ordered the fleet to hold formation and observe. We need to understand their response, she said. We cannot waste resources on minor threats yet. The alien ships approached cautiously, scanning the human fleet. They had heard rumors of Earth's hidden warships, but seeing them in action was shocking. Humans were everywhere at once, moving with precision and unity. The aliens exchanged nervous glances, realizing they had underestimated the humans. In orbit around neutral planets. The fleet paused to resupply and repair. Juneseo and Yijin supervised the process, ensuring that every system was restored and every weapon ready. They will come after us, Juneseo said. The Council cannot ignore these attacks. We must be faster and stronger than they expect. Heijin smiled. That is exactly what we have planned. Meanwhile, the Council gathered in emergency meetings. Panic replaced their arrogance as reports of human victories poured in. We underestimated them, one elder admitted. They are not weak. They are organized, intelligent, and dangerous. Others argued about counterattacks, but the humans had already outmaneuvered them at every step. On board the flagship, Miare studied the next sector. There are several small colonies under Council control, she said. They are weakly defended. If we take them, we can gain allies and resources for the next stage. Heijin nodded. Prepare the coordinates. We strike before they can reinforce. Commander Daesung added, every step must be precise. Our fleet is powerful, but we cannot take unnecessary risks. The humans moved silently toward the colonies, their presence undetected until the last moment. Fighters like Heijin and Junwoo darted through asteroid belts and space debris, disabling Council patrols with ease. Engineers such as Sukmin and Boare sabotage stations and systems from a distance, ensuring minimal human losses. When the Council realized the attacks, it was too late. Humans had already established control over the colonies, gaining supplies, allies, and strategic positions. Each victory strengthened the fleet and the morale of its crew. Heijin addressed the officers once more. This is what it means to be cast out, she said. We rise from rejection, stronger than ever. Humanity will not bow. We will take our place among the stars. As the fleet moved to regroup and plan the next strike, news of human victories spread across the galaxy. Small alien factions that had suffered under Council rule began to whisper of rebellion, inspired by Earth's rise. Humans had not only demonstrated their strength but also their potential to change the balance of power. The fleet's success was not just military but symbolic. Each ship carried the hopes of generations, the knowledge that humans had survived exile and humiliation to emerge stronger. Heijin looked out at the stars and felt a surge of pride. We have begun, she said softly. The Council will never forget this day. Humanity is no longer hidden, no longer weak, no longer to be ignored. In the darkness of space, the human fleet glided silently, a shadow of power and precision. The Council would respond, they always did, but humans had learned to be faster, smarter, and more coordinated. Every decision, every calculation, every strike was made with care and purpose. Humanity had been cast out, but now it was ready to strike back, one calculated move at a time. The human fleet moved deeper into Council space, its warships gliding like shadows through the stars. Admiral Heijin stood on the bridge of the flagship, her eyes fixed on the holographic display. Red dots marked the locations of Council fleets, and green dots showed human ships in perfect formation. Commander Daesung leaned over the display, tracing the movements of enemy forces. They are gathering near the Lasara system, he said. This will be a larger engagement than before. Miare adjusted the tactical map. They are concentrating their cruisers and fighters, but their formations are slow. If we attack carefully, we can break them apart before they reach full strength. Heijin nodded. Then we strike with speed and precision. Every ship knows its role. The Lasara system was a cluster of planets and asteroids, a natural barrier for Council fleets. Humans had studied it carefully, knowing its navigational challenges better than any alien commander. Small craft like Heijin's and Junwoo's fighters darted between asteroids, scouting the enemy while remaining hidden. Engineers such as Sukmin and Boare monitored shield outputs and railgun calibrations, ensuring every weapon was ready. As the fleet approached the outer rim of the system, the Council's defenses detected them. Alarms blared on alien ships, and commanders barked orders. They are here, one shouted. Prepare to fire. Do not let them breach the perimeter. But humans were already in position, their movements calculated and flawless. Heijin gave the command. Engage. Railguns fired, sending beams of energy across the void. The Council's cruisers were hit almost instantly, shields failing under precise, coordinated attacks. Fighters tried to intercept, but human ships had already predicted their paths. Hygiene's craft twisted and turned through the chaos, disabling key council weapons with pinpoint accuracy. The battle was intense, but humans had the advantage of strategy. Mira coordinated the fleet, directing smaller ships to flank the enemy while the main warships focused on critical targets. "Keep moving," she said. "Do not let them regroup. Strike fast. Strike hard." The Council's fleet, though larger, struggled to respond. Their arrogance had led them to underestimate humans, and now it was costing them dearly. In the chaos, Junwoo spotted a Council cruiser attempting to escape. "Target that cruiser," he shouted. His fighter surged forward, weaving through enemy fire. A railgun shot from his ship struck the cruiser's engines, and it spun out of control before exploding in a brilliant flash. The Council's morale began to falter as human precision destroyed one vessel after another. On the flagship, Hyejin watched the battle unfold. "They will try to regroup," she said. "We cannot let them." Commander Daesung coordinated reinforcements, sending additional warships to cut off escape routes. Mira calculated the best positions for each vessel, ensuring that Council ships could not flee or form defensive lines. Humans fought with discipline, coordination, and intelligence, qualities that the Council had never truly understood. Meanwhile, on a nearby human cruiser, technician Boare monitored damage reports. "Minor hull breaches on 2 ships," she said. "Shields holding. No critical systems affected." Engineers worked quickly to repair and reinforce, keeping the fleet in perfect fighting condition. Jun Seo and Yijin managed resources and supplies, ensuring that every ship remained operational. Human efficiency and preparation gave them an edge that the Council could not match. The battle reached the heart of the Lasara system, where the Council's main supply station orbited a small planet. Hyejin ordered a concentrated strike, targeting the station's weapons and communications. "We take the heart, and the fleet will scatter," she said. Missiles launched from human warships, disabling defensive turrets. Railguns fired in synchronized volleys, tearing through the station's shields. Within minutes, the supply station was destroyed, leaving the Council fleet vulnerable and disorganized. As the humans pressed their advantage, alien reinforcements arrived from neighboring sectors. Hyejin remained calm. "Predictable," she said. "Mira, adjust the formation and prepare intercepts." The fleet moved in perfect coordination, flanking the newcomers and cutting off their escape routes. Fighters like Hyejin and Junwoo darted through space, disabling engines and weapon systems with precise shots. Within the hour, the Council reinforcements were defeated or fleeing in disarray. On board the flagship, Hyejin addressed her officers. "The Council cannot recover fast enough," she said. "Their arrogance has blinded them. Humanity's strength is in our unity, intelligence, and resolve." Commander Daesung nodded. "Every victory strengthens us. Every success inspires our people." Mira added, "And it terrifies the Council. They will now think twice before underestimating humans again." In the aftermath, the human fleet regrouped near a cluster of neutral planets. Supplies were replenished, and ships were repaired. Pilots rested, technicians maintained their equipment, and commanders studied the next phase of operations. Each human knew that the battles were only beginning, but every victory added confidence and experience. Back on Earth, news of the victories spread rapidly. Citizens like Hannah and Jiho celebrated the fleet's success, while continuing their work to support the campaign. People across the planet felt pride and hope. Humanity had been cast out and humiliated by the Council, but now they were reclaiming their place in the galaxy. The Council convened emergency meetings. Panic and fear replaced their usual arrogance. "They are stronger than we imagined," one elder admitted. "They are organized, precise, and fearless." Others argued about retaliation, but they were divided, and division was their weakness. The humans had exploited this weakness expertly, striking with speed and intelligence. Meanwhile, Hyejin planned the next attacks. "We move toward the inner sectors," she said. "Council supply lines, communication hubs, and colonies will fall one by one. We show them that humans are not weak. We show them that Earth is a power to be reckoned with. Mireille studied maps and charts. Timing will be crucial, she said. We must strike before they can rebuild or reinforce. Speed and precision will be our allies. The fleet moved again, advancing deeper into Council territory. Pilots like Haijin and Junwoo executed daring maneuvers through asteroid fields and planetary rings, scouting ahead and engaging enemy patrols. Technicians and engineers maintained weapons and shields, ensuring the fleet's readiness. Every human aboard every ship understood the mission. Reclaim respect, demonstrate strength, and fight with intelligence and honor. In one small sector, the humans discovered a council colony under tight control. The inhabitants were oppressed, their resources exploited for the council's benefit. Haijin saw an opportunity. We liberate them, she said, not just for resources, but to show the galaxy what humans stand for. The fleet moved swiftly, disabling defenses with minimal casualties. Pilots and engineers worked together to evacuate colonists and secure the colony. The humans gained allies, resources, and morale, while the Council suffered humiliation. As the day ended, the human fleet held a silent formation in orbit around a neutral planet. Haijin stood on the observation deck, gazing at the stars. Commander Daesung joined her. They will respond with more force, he said. Haijin nodded. Let them. We are ready. Every battle makes us stronger. Every victory teaches us more. Humanity will not be stopped. Mireille reviewed tactical data one last time before reporting to the Admiral. Our sensors show Council forces regrouping near the next sector, she said. They are preparing, but their coordination is weak. We have the advantage. Haijin smiled faintly. Then we strike again. Humanity will continue to rise, one calculated move at a time. The human fleet moved silently through the darkness, a shadow of precision and power. Council forces scrambled to respond, but humans were always one step ahead. Pilots, engineers, and commanders worked in perfect harmony, executing strategies born from intelligence, practice, and determination. Humanity had been cast out, but now it had the power to strike back with unmatched efficiency. Across the galaxy, news of the victories inspired whispers of hope among oppressed colonies and fear among Council factions. The humans were no longer just a primitive species to be ignored. They were a force organized, disciplined, and deadly. Haijin knew the Council would never underestimate humans again. And with every battle, the human fleet proved that the stars were theirs to navigate, fight for, and ultimately, change forever. The human fleet continued its advance deeper into Council territory, moving with purpose and precision. Admiral Haijin watched the holographic displays, noting the positions of Council fleets and colonies. Commander Daesung stood at her side, reviewing reports. They are concentrating near the Taryan sector, he said. This is where their main forces are gathering. Mireille adjusted the tactical map, her eyes sharp with focus. Their formations are large but rigid, she said. They rely on brute force, not tactics. If we strike smartly, we can dismantle them piece by piece. Haijin nodded. Then we continue with speed and precision. We do not waste strength. Every move must count. The fleet approached the Taryan sector, a cluster of planets and asteroids protected by Council forces. Scouts like Junwoo and Haijin flew ahead, moving silently to gather information. Technicians Sukmin and Boare monitored shields and weapons on the larger warships, ensuring every system was at peak performance. Every human aboard knew the stakes. This was a critical moment in the campaign. As they entered the sector, Council forces detected them immediately. Alarms blared across the cruisers and fighters, and alien commanders shouted orders to form defensive lines. They are here. Do not let them pass, one shouted, panic evident in his voice. But the humans were already in position, their strategy clear. Haijin gave the command. Engage. Railguns fired in precise coordination, striking Council ships before they could form a proper defense. Fighters moved quickly, dodging enemy fire while disabling key weapons and engines. Junwoo maneuvered his craft through a field of debris, firing at a cruiser's weak points. Hygiene followed, her shots precise and deadly. The Council's fleet began to break apart, unable to withstand the coordinated human assault. Mireille guided the fleet with calm authority. "Flank their main ships," she said. "Cut off their escape routes. Keep them from regrouping." Human warships moved like a single organism, surrounding Council vessels and striking from multiple angles. The enemy, though larger in number, could not match the speed, intelligence, and coordination of the humans. On the flagship, Hygiene monitored the battle. "They will attempt reinforcements," she said. "Prepare intercepts." Commander Daesung adjusted the fleet's formation, positioning smaller ships to intercept and disable any incoming Council forces. Engineers Sukmin and Boare ensured shields were reinforced and railguns recalibrated for maximum effect. As the battle raged, a Council cruiser attempted to flee. Junwoo spotted it immediately. "Target that cruiser," he shouted. Hygiene's fighter joined him, and together they disabled the engines with precise railgun fire. The cruiser spiraled out of control before exploding in a brilliant flash, leaving the Council fleet further disorganized. Meanwhile, on a nearby human cruiser, technicians worked tirelessly to repair minor hull damage and restore systems affected by enemy fire. ORA reported, "Shields at full capacity. All weapons online." Jun SEO and Yijin coordinated resources and ammunition, ensuring the fleet remained fully operational. Humans were efficient, disciplined, and unyielding, giving them an advantage the Council could not match. The Council, realizing their forces were failing, attempted a coordinated retreat. Hygiene anticipated this. "Do not let them regroup," she said. Mireille directed warships to intercept escape routes while fighter squadrons cut off smaller ships. Within minutes, the Council fleet was in full retreat, leaving their supply stations and colonies exposed. The humans pressed forward, targeting Council supply lines and communication hubs. Each victory strengthened the fleet and boosted morale. Hygiene addressed the officers. "Every strike shows the Council that humans cannot be ignored," she said. "We fight not just for victory, but to reclaim our place among the stars." In orbit around a Council-controlled colony, the humans launched a precision attack. Fighters disabled defensive turrets while warships struck the main facilities. Colonists who had suffered under Council rule were liberated and welcomed the humans as protectors. Hygiene saw the value not just in victory, but in demonstrating humanity's strength and mercy. Back on Earth, news of the fleet's successes inspired pride and hope. Citizens like Hannah and Jiho coordinated additional support for the fleet, ensuring supplies, intelligence, and reinforcements were ready. Humanity had been cast out and humiliated, but now they were proving their power and intelligence across the galaxy. The Council, meanwhile, convened emergency meetings. Panic replaced arrogance. "They are faster, smarter, and more coordinated than we imagined," one elder admitted. Another added, "We underestimated them at every step. We must rethink our strategy, but division and distrust weaken us." The humans had exploited these weaknesses perfectly, striking at the heart of the Council's arrogance. Hygiene planned the next phase. "We move deeper into Council space," she said. "We target their communication hubs, colonies, and supply stations. We continue to show that humans are a force to be respected, feared, and considered in every Council decision." Mireille studied charts and data. "Timing and precision will be our allies. We strike before they can rebuild or reinforce." The fleet moved toward a heavily defended sector, where Council forces had stationed their main colonies and outposts. Pilots like Junwoo and Hygiene navigated through asteroid fields and planetary rings, engaging enemy patrols with skill and efficiency. Engineers and technicians maintained shields and weapons, ensuring readiness for every encounter. Humans fought with discipline, intelligence, and courage, qualities that the Council could not anticipate or counter effectively. During the operation, a Council colony resisted fiercely. Hygiene observed from the flagship. "We must minimize casualties," she said. "Disable defenses, protect civilians." Fighters and warships moved in coordinated attacks, disabling weapons and engines without harming the population. The colonists, grateful for the human intervention, provided resources and intelligence, further strengthening the fleet. The battle lasted several hours, but the humans' discipline and strategy prevailed. The Council's forces were scattered, their colonies weakened, and their supply lines disrupted. Every victory sent a clear message across the galaxy. Humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. As night fell over distant planets, the human fleet regrouped near a neutral system. Repairs were made, supplies restocked, and pilots rested. Heijin reflected on the campaign so far. "Every strike teaches us more," she said to Commander Daesung. "Every victory inspires us and terrifies our enemies. We are changing the balance of power in this galaxy." Mireille reviewed tactical data one last time before reporting. "Sensors show Council forces regrouping for a counterattack," she said. Heijin smiled faintly. "Let them come. They will find humans ready for every challenge." The fleet held formation, a symbol of power, precision, and determination. Across the galaxy, whispers spread among oppressed colonies and Council factions. Humans were no longer merely primitive beings to be ignored. They were a force, disciplined, intelligent, and unstoppable. Each victory strengthened the fleet and inspired fear and respect among allies and enemies alike. Heijin knew the Council would respond with more ships and tactics, but the humans were ready. Every move, every strike, every decision had been calculated. Humanity had been cast out, but now it wielded power, precision, and strategy that the Council could not match. The stars were no longer a place to hide. They were a battlefield where humans would fight, protect, and ultimately change all that existed. The fleet moved silently through the darkness, ready for the next challenge. Pilots, engineers, and commanders worked together as one, executing strategies born from intelligence, training, and determination. Humanity had been cast out, but now it was the force shaping the galaxy. Heijin gazed at the stars, knowing that this was only the beginning of a new era, one where humans would no longer be ignored, underestimated, or cast aside. The human fleet had moved from victory to victory, carving a path through Council space with speed and precision. Admiral Heijin stood on the bridge of the flagship, watching the holographic display of the galaxy before her. Commander Daesung was beside her, reviewing the latest reports. "They are gathering near the core worlds," he said quietly. "This will be their strongest resistance yet." Mireille adjusted the tactical map, her eyes scanning for weaknesses. "Their fleets are large but disorganized," she said. "Pride blinds them. If we strike smartly, we can dismantle their defenses before they can respond properly." Heijin nodded. "Then we move carefully but decisively. Every strike must count." The core worlds were the heart of Council territory, densely populated and heavily fortified. Humans had studied them for years, mapping defenses and supply lines, learning every possible weakness. Pilots like Junwoo and Heijin flew reconnaissance missions, scouting enemy positions while staying hidden. Technicians Sukmin and Boare monitored the flagship's shields and weapons, ensuring readiness for the largest battle humanity had ever fought. As they entered Council space, alarms blared on alien warships. The Council's commanders shouted orders, trying to form defensive lines. "They have reached the core," one yelled. "Do not let them pass." But humans were already in position, their movements precise and coordinated. Heijin gave the command. "Engage." Railguns fired in perfect synchronization, striking Council ships before they could maneuver. Fighters darted through the chaos, dodging enemy fire while disabling key weapons and engines. Junwoo maneuvered his craft through a dense asteroid field, taking careful aim at a cruiser's weak points. Heijin followed, her shots precise, bringing down the enemy ship in a brilliant explosion. The Council fleet began to falter under the human assault. Mireille coordinated the fleet with calm authority. "Flank their main ships," she said. "Do not let them escape. Cut off their reinforcements." The fleet moved as one, surrounding Council ships and striking from multiple directions. The aliens, though larger in number, could not match the speed, intelligence, and coordination of the humans. On board the flagship, Heijin watched every movement. They will try a final counterattack, she said. Commander Daesung nodded. We are ready. Every ship knows its role. Engineers Sukmin and Boare ensured shields were reinforced and railguns calibrated for maximum efficiency. Every system was prepared for the decisive battle. In the midst of the engagement, a council cruiser attempted to flee. Junwoo spotted it immediately. Target that cruiser, he shouted. Heijin joined him, and together they disabled the engines with precise railgun fire. The cruiser spun out of control before exploding, leaving the council fleet further disorganized. Nearby, a council supply station fired its defensive turrets, attempting to repel the human fleet. Heijin gave the order to focus fire on the station. Missiles struck first, followed by concentrated railgun volleys. Shields failed, and the station's weapons were destroyed. Engineers on the human warships worked quickly to prevent any retaliation. The station was reduced to ruins, its resources lost to the council. The council, realizing their fleets were failing, attempted to coordinate a final stand near the central planet of the core worlds. Heijin anticipated this. Prepare intercepts, she said. Miare directed warships to block escape routes while fighter squadrons disabled smaller vessels. Within minutes, the council forces were scattered, their main fleet destroyed or fleeing. Humans moved swiftly to secure the central planet. Pilots like Junwoo and Heijin darted through orbit, neutralizing patrols and disabling defensive satellites. Engineers Sukmin and Boare coordinated systems to control planetary defenses, ensuring the council could not retake control. Colonists oppressed by the council were liberated, providing supplies, intelligence, and morale for the human fleet. Heijin addressed the officers on the flagship. This is more than victory, she said. We are reshaping the balance of power. Humanity has been cast out, but now we define its place in the galaxy. Every strike, every decision, every effort has brought us here. The council will no longer ignore us. On Earth, citizens like Hannah and Ji-ho celebrated the fleet's accomplishments. Supplies, reinforcements, and communications were coordinated to support ongoing campaigns. Humanity had been underestimated for centuries, but now the galaxy witnessed the intelligence, precision, and strength of Earth's people. The council convened emergency meetings, panic replacing their usual arrogance. They are unstoppable, one elder admitted. They are organized, strategic, and fearless. Another said, we cannot counter them without risking complete destruction. Divisions grew among council species, weakening their already faltering response. The humans had exploited this perfectly, striking decisively and mercilessly when needed. Heijin prepared for the next step. We consolidate our gains, she said. We strengthen our positions, secure allies, and prepare for any remaining resistance. We must show that humanity is both a warrior and a protector. Miare studied charts and data. We will strike before they rebuild. Timing is crucial. We maintain our advantage. The fleet moved to secure other core colonies, encountering pockets of council resistance. Pilots like Junwoo and Heijin executed daring maneuvers through asteroid fields, disabling enemy patrols and installations. Engineers maintained weapons, shields, and engines, ensuring that every ship remained at full capacity. Humans fought with discipline, courage, and intelligence, proving themselves to be an unstoppable force. During one operation, the humans discovered a council colony holding enslaved populations. Heijin acted decisively. We liberate them, she said. Fighters neutralized defensive turrets while warships disabled energy grids. Colonists were freed, providing intelligence and support to the humans. The council suffered not only losses in warships but also in reputation and loyalty. Humanity's actions inspired fear and respect simultaneously. As the sun set over distant planets, the human fleet regrouped. Repairs were made, supplies restocked, and pilots rested. Heijin reflected on the campaign. Every victory has strengthened us, she said to Commander Daesung. Every action teaches us more. Humanity will no longer be underestimated. Mireille reviewed tactical reports one last time before reporting. The remaining council forces are attempting to regroup for a final resistance, she said. Jean nodded. Let them try. Humanity is ready for every challenge. We fight with intelligence, precision, and courage. The stars are ours to protect and change. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Oppressed colonies and factions who had suffered under the Council were inspired by humanity's rise. Humans were no longer primitive beings to be ignored. They were disciplined, intelligent, and unstoppable. Every victory strengthened their position and sent a message to the Council. Earth was a power to be reckoned with. Jean knew the Council would attempt further actions, but humans were prepared. Every strike, every move, every decision had been calculated for maximum effect. Humanity had been cast out, humiliated, and underestimated. Now they held the strength, intelligence, and coordination to reshape the galaxy. The fleet moved silently, holding formation in orbit around a liberated core planet. Pilots, engineers, and commanders worked together as one, executing strategies born from years of planning, training, and determination. Humanity had been cast out, but now it was the force shaping the galaxy's future. Jean looked at the stars, knowing that this was only the beginning. The Council had been defeated in multiple sectors, their arrogance shattered, and their forces scattered. Humans had demonstrated strength, intelligence, and compassion. The galaxy had changed forever. Earth was no longer hidden, no longer weak, and no longer to be ignored. Commander Daesung stood beside her. The Council will never underestimate humans again, he said. Jean smiled. No, they won't. Humanity has cast off its chains, and now we rise. We fight not just to survive, but to protect, inspire, and lead. The stars are ours, and we will continue to change all that exists. The fleet moved forward, a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and determination. Across the galaxy, planets and colonies watched, inspired and in awe. Humans had risen from exile to power, showing that intelligence, unity, and courage could overcome even the most powerful enemies. The stars were no longer a frontier of weakness. They were the stage for humanity's triumph.